everyone, and welcome to the AZ Sports Zone on the IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. I'm your host, Alden K. Today for episode 10, we got a lot to talk about regarding the Arizona Cardinals, starting off with the Week 2 recap on the 41-10 victory against the LA Rams. The Lions and Cardinals Week 3 preview, and can the Cardinals pull an upset against one of the toughest NFC teams in the Detroit Lions? Kyler Murray not winning Offensive Player of the Week despite putting up a perfect passer rating against the Rams in Week 2. And then next we're going to be moving on to the Diamondbacks on their playoff hopes. Will they make the playoffs as the Atlanta Braves and New York Mets keep on storming towards victories over and over again? The D-backs and Brewers as they take on Milwaukee for the second game of the series at Milwaukee. Lourdes Gurriel Jr. returning from the injured list. And then we're going to be talking about the NL wildcard race. And then lastly, on to college football, ASU taking on Texas Tech today and U of A taking on Utah today tomorrow. So once again, guys, welcome to the AZ Sports on the IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that sports. I'm your host, Alden K. Alrighty, thank you guys for coming to the AZ Sports on the IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all those sports. I'm your host, Alden K. So today for episode 10, we got a lot in Arizona land to talk about. But before we do that, guys, IE Sports Radio has been around for 10 years. Make sure to follow us on all of our socials, as y'all can see right here. And guys, make sure to sub up to our YouTube channel where we're really trying to grow right now. Right now, we're at 257 subscribers. We're trying to really get up there on YouTube, obviously, since, you know, YouTube it's really growing out there in the world. So make sure to sub up to our YouTube channel if you can. If you guys miss any of our shows, you guys can just check them out right here. Just Spreaker especially. Make sure to go check out shows if you miss them. Make sure to go check out our website, guys, at iesportsradio.com. And then if you guys are interested in buying some merch, make sure to check out the shop as well. I really need to get mine. So, hey, whenever I got time, I guess, I'll think about it. Make sure to check out our custom pages, guys. As y'all can see, mine is right here. But don't just check out mine. Make sure to go check out everyone else's. And then make sure to follow both of the Twitter accounts that I run, starting off with my IE Sports Radio Twitter account, where I give updates on every Arizona team. I retweet a lot of the stuff that Arizona teams post. Right now, I'm just keeping up with the Cardinals and sometimes the Diamondbacks whenever I have a chance. And then make sure to follow my personal Twitter account at the AZTRL, which I am unfiltered, brutally honest, talk trash about all of my division rivals and every team I can't stand, this and that. So this is the Twitter account where I like to piss a lot of people off. So make sure to go check out that one. And make sure to check out our sponsors, guys, starting off with Planet Jerky, Premium Brisket Beef Jerky, and Seal the Deal Wax Seals, guys. Make sure to go check out our sponsors. And before we get into the Arizona sports topics, we're going to go into a quick sponsor break and hear a word from our sponsors. Once again, guys, you're watching the AZ Sports Zone on the IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
IE Sports Radio fans, this show is brought to you by Planet Jerky Premium Brisket Beef Jerky. Planet Jerky is the official jerky of the 2022 California League champion Lake Elsinore Storm, Single A affiliate of the San Diego Padres. This all brisket jerky has gluten-free options, contains no MSG, no sodium nitrate, is low in sugar, and high in protein. Go to their website at planetjerky.net and follow them on Instagram at Planet Jerky. Planet Jerky, the jerky that's on a whole other planet.
there, IE Sports Radio fans. Be sure to check out our sponsor, Seal the Deal Wax Seals by Cecilia B. You just finished your very own wedding or baby shower invitations and you're looking for that extra special touch? Maybe you just wrote a letter to a relative or a friend and you want to add to their smile when they receive it. Then seal the deal with Cecilia's handmade sealing wax stamps for your invitations, letters, and gifts. You bring the deal, we'll bring the seal. You can find them on Instagram at sealthedeal_wax stamps and on Facebook, Seal the Deal Wax Seals.
For the last 10 years, IE Sports Radio has been bringing you amazing content ranging from interviewing legendary athletes, coaches, and other authorized media personnel to building tailor-made shows dedicated to all major sports cities around the country. Make sure to follow us at IE Sports Radio on X, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and YouTube to keep up with the latest in sports and with all of our shows. Also, make sure to check out our daily updated website at iesportsradio.com. At iesportsradio.com, you can see our daily show schedule and check out all of our show pages with personal bios to learn a little bit more about each of our awesome hosts. In addition to our show pages, you can catch the IE Sports Radio blog, Hall of Fame, Fans of the Month page, and our merchandise shop including t-shirts, tank tops, caps, long sleeves, hoodies, and more. For now over a decade here at IE Sports Radio, we've continued to be by the fans, for the fans, and we thank you all for your support and for making IE Sports Radio your direct feed for all that is sports.
Welcome back to the AZ Sports Zone on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that sports. I'm your host, Alden K. Shout out to our sponsors, Planet Premium Brisket Beef Jerky, Seal the Deal Wax Seals, and of course, our own IE Sports Radio guys. Make sure to go check out all of our shows, not just mine. I go live every Friday at 1 o'clock Pacific Standard Time if this is your first time watching. But pretty much every day, we got people from all over the country that will go live once a week for 1 hour about a city and talk about their teams, this and that, just pretty much giving their thoughts on what they enjoy. So if you're a fan of those teams and those states or whatever, make sure to go check them out. But with that being said, let's get into the Arizona sports segment. And like usual, I'm going to be starting it off with our beloved Arizona Cardinals, who, man, dominated in week 2. How about that victory? So coming into this week 2 game, I picked us to lose because of a lot of things. If you saw my episode last week, when I was talking with Taryn, our host of the SoCal show, basically the history we've had with the Rams, Sean McVay owning us, this and that, and just with just the Rams having our number, basically. I didn't think we were going to turn it around right here. But basically the Cardinals, there's not really a lot I could say that went wrong with this game. Everything went good. Our offense was killing it. Our defense bounced back after a rough game against Buffalo. I could start off by saying you can really tell that week 1 game was kind of like our preseason game for our starters, because our starters, like I said, our starters not playing in preseason definitely played a big factor into that week 1 game. Kyler looked a little bit rusty. Our team in general looked a little bit rusty in that game, but we still did decent in Buffalo. We had a lead, and our coach just didn't make any adjustments. We ended up losing, and then we come back home, taking on the Rams, who we had not been in Arizona since 2014, to be exact, when they were the St. Louis Rams, believe it or not. But basically, we just came back home, and we made a statement. There's not really much else to say. We beat the Rams 41-10. I don't remember the last time we I think the last time we beat the Rams that much was Carson Palmer's last game in 2017. when we beat the Rams, I think 44-6. That was the last time I can really remember we beat the Rams that much. So this was a really good game. Um, if you're a Rams fan, the only thing you should have really taken out of this game is the fact that Marvin Harrison Jr. is going to be owning your team for the next 10, 15 years. That's right, because Marvin Harrison Jr. made a big statement. You know, a lot of people judged how his career was going to be just based off of that week 1 game, right? He only had 1 catch for 4 yards. A lot of people said, oh, he's a bust. He's not going to do anything. Kyler Murray's holding him back, this and that. It seemed like a lot of people were really judging how his career was going to go based off of that 1 game. And it was his first ever game, and he struggled. But in week 2, like, you guys see what happens when Jonathan Gannon and Drew Petzing are able to get Marvin Harrison Jr. involved. His first catch was a 20-something yard touchdown, and he barely made it. It was barely a touchdown, but he was able to keep his feet in bounds and put the Cardinals on the board. Second drive, first play of the game, 60 yards for another touchdown. I mean, it felt like he was going to put up Randy Moss numbers for a second. Like, he had 2 catches for 2 touchdowns. In the first half, I think in total, he had 4 catches for like 130 yards or something like that. We didn't really see him a lot in the second half, but the damage was already done by the end of the first half. And our defense really surprised me. Our run game was on point. The Rams could not do anything whatsoever. Cooper Kupp did not do anything. He got injured in the process, but still did not do anything regardless. They didn't have Puka Nacua, which was a big factor for us heading into this game. Kyron Williams had a touchdown, but it was pretty much in garbage time when the game was already over. So other than that, I mean, Stafford didn't really have that big of a game. I mean, there's not a lot you can really say about this Rams offense that really made a statement. So if you're a Rams fan heading into week 3 against San Francisco, good luck, because there's nothing to really hype up about heading into that week. But back to the Cardinals, on the other hand, the thing that I really liked to see was the fact that Kyler Murray, if you look at his completion percentage, he only had 4 incompletions. And all 4 of those incompletions were to Marvin Harrison Jr., right? So you could kind of tell that the Rams were kind of somewhat, in a way, game planning for Marvin Harrison because, you know, and get this, whenever he threw the ball to Trey McBride, it was a completion. Whenever he threw the ball to Michael Wilson, it was a completion. Whenever he threw the ball to James Conner, Greg Dortch, for the short amount of completions that he had, they were completions. So Kyler Murray's accuracy was on point. Not only that, but I always try to tell people that when Kyler Murray is healthy, he plays like an MVP, right? Because when Kyler Murray has pressure going towards him, because the offensive line didn't do anything, all right? That's about the only down part I could say about our offense in that game, is that the offensive line did not give Kyler Murray enough time whatsoever. Kyler Murray was running for his life. You guys saw that one play, right, where Kyler Murray juked out Jared Verse like a good 2 times, escaped another defensive lineman on the Rams, and then just chucked the ball straight to Elijah Higgins for a touchdown. So the offensive line, they need to get their crap together heading into this week 3 game, which I'll get to week 3 here in a little bit. But in regards to Kyler Murray, I haven't heard from a single Kyler Murray hater since that game, right? A lot of people were flapping their gaps in Buffalo when, the referees were the reasons that we lost. But into week 2, James Conner had a hell of a game as well. Trey Benson, I really hope we get to see Trey Benson a lot as the season goes on, because coming out of Florida State, I thought he was a really good prospect for us. It would be really nice to see him out there a lot more. I know James Conner is the first option in the backfield, but it'd be nice to see Trey Benson out there a lot more going further. Even though I think he had 10 carries for like 11 yards, he didn't really do that well. It'd be nice to see him develop a lot more as the season goes. So let me get to the chat, because I have not gotten to the chat at all. What's up, Taryn? Yep, you already know it, man. Congrats to the Cardinals on getting the win. Yep, Cardinals they just clicked it, man. Hey, what's up, Larry? How you doing? It was that long since the Cardinals beat the Rams. Yes, 10 years. It was 10 years since the Cardinals beat the Rams in Arizona. So yeah, when the Rams were still in St. Louis. Yep. Glad the Cardinals remembered they had Marvin Harrison Jr. And there was this joke that one of the Cardinals insiders made up, and I thought it was funny because you know how Marvin Harrison Jr. is known as Maserati Marv. The joke that this insider made was it's kind of interesting how you buy a Maserati but forget where the keys are, basically, in reference to that Marvin Harrison didn't do anything in week 1, but he did in week 2. So there you go. That's all that matters. Cardinals played out of their minds in week 2, yes. And Larry, your Raiders beat the Ravens too, which I found even more impressive. So congrats on your win as well. Terrence says the Rams lost Cooper Kupp and this week against the Niners. It's going to be an injury bowl. Yeah, I saw the Niners are without Debo, CMC, and George Kittle, I think, and maybe even Nick Bosa. So yeah, injury bug for that game. What's up, Chad? How you doing? Great job on your Steelers for going 2-0. But yeah, that's my recap on week 2. The only losers I can really name out are the LA Rams. Other than that, and our O line. Other than that, we're 1-1. Great way to start off the homestand of this season. All right, now let's move on to some business that we got to take care of in week 3, which is the Detroit Lions. So starting off with the preview of the Lions and Cardinals week 3, I always start off with the injury report. So I have it on my phone right here. I'm not sharing my screen anymore because I got copyrighted last time or on my actual channel last time I did that. So nope, no more sharing the screen. So if y'all don't like it, I'm sorry, but it is what it is. So as of Wednesday, September 18th, so it's Friday, September 20th right now. So as of 2 days ago, so it's not updated yet. So the most updated injured list was Wednesday, September 18th. So for the visiting Detroit Lions, we got Alex Anzalone with a concussion. He was a DNP in practice. For defensive back Terrion Arnold with an illness, he was a DNP. For guard Graham Glasgow with a knee injury, he was a DNP. For defensive back Anis Rakestraw, hamstring, he was a DNP. For safety Kirby Joseph with a back injury, he was limited. For wide receiver Isaiah Williams with an abdomen injury, he was limited in practice. For defensive end Marcus Davenport with a groin injury, he was a full participant, so he should be good to go. And then lastly, Amon-Ra St. Brown with a quadricep injury was a full participant. So we are going to be going up against Amon-Ra St. Brown for the likelihood of it. And then for the Arizona Cardinals, get this, because this injured list is not big at all. Dante Stills, defensive lineman with a shoulder injury, he was limited. Offensive lineman Will Hernandez with an ankle issue, he was a full participant, so he should be good to go. And wide receiver Xavier Weaver with an oblique issue was a full participant. And Kelvin Beachum was a late add-on to there, and he was limited. So get this, 3 weeks into the season, we are not an injured-caused team yet, guys. This has been, I don't remember the last time heading into week 3, our injured list was this small, and I'm dead serious. We've been an injured-prone team for, I swear, forever now. So it's nice to see our team being able to stay healthy a little bit somewhat heading into week 3, and hopefully I didn't jinx that. So that's the injury report. So now that I look at this, Amon-Ra St. Brown, it's looking like he is going to play for Detroit. So with that being said, so coming into this Detroit Lions game, right? The first thing for me that comes to mind is Aiden Hutchinson. All right. He had 4.5 sacks last week against Tampa Bay. And even though Detroit lost, they lost to Tampa Bay. But in regards of all of that, Aiden Hutchinson played out of his mind with 4.5 sacks. And I always talk about the offensive line being a weak factor. They need to get it together taking on this Detroit Lions defensive line. We cannot allow them to put pressure on Kyler Murray heading into this game, especially Aiden Hutchinson coming at you. Kyler Murray has to be comfortable in the pocket this week. It's one thing to play against an injured Rams team. We're taking on the Lions now. And even though by the looks of their injury report, they are missing some key guys, or they could be missing some key guys. Yeah, Kyler Murray needs to be protected at all costs because worst case scenario, just like last week, where Kyler Murray almost took a brutal hit where he could have faced an injury. So this week, our O-line needs to be on par. The run game needs to be involved a lot more. So yeah, there's that. And also offensively, I do want to see a lot more of the Marvin Harrison Jr. and Kyler Murray connection because that was a big reason why we won last week. So I want to pull up an interesting stat line that is a big factor heading into this week. Jared Goff has had our number in recent years. So he's 8-1 against the Cardinals in his career. And in Detroit, he's 1-0. So the first 8 games were obviously when he was in LA. We have not beaten Jared Goff since his rookie season. I think that was the 44-6 game I brought up earlier when we beat the Rams and when they were in St. Louis. So anyway, yeah, ever since Jared Goff was a sophomore in the NFL, we have not beaten him. And it goes back to when I said Sean McVay owns us and the Rams own us. We beat the Rams when they owned us. So I'm not saying just because Jared Goff owns us, he's going to automatically beat us. For all we know, we could turn that curse around as well. So basically, it does feel like Jared Goff turns into Tom Brady or something like that whenever we play him. I don't know why, I don't know how, but Jared Goff does have a chip on his shoulder, right? He got awarded a big contract. The Lions are coming off a big NFC title game that they should have won, but fortunately blew it. So the Lions do have something to prove. They're 1-1 right now, coming off a win against the Rams and a loss against Tampa Bay. So both of these teams, we don't really know what kind of team we're going to get from both of these teams, right? For all we know, the Cardinals could turn into this playoff team when we least expect it. And for all we know, the Lions could be a one-year wonder, right? We just never know. So another thing I want to mention is that, hold up. So the Cardinals have not beaten the Lions in a decade. Yeah, you heard that here first. So let me just show that up there. So yeah, the Cardinals have not beaten the Detroit Lions in a decade. So that includes the years when Detroit was the Detroit that we used to know when they were a bad team. Even when the Cardinals were a good team, even when the Lions were a bad team, the Lions have our number. And I'm not sure why. It's just, it is what it is. Matchups are a big factor whenever we play the Detroit Lions. The closest that we came to beating the Lions was in 2019 when, in Kyler Murray's first ever NFL game, in Arizona, I was at that game too. We tied with the Lions. That was the last time we even came close to beating Detroit. Ever since then, we lost to Detroit in 2020. We lost to Detroit in 2021 when we should have beaten them, but it is what it is. And that was the last time we played Detroit. So we're playing Detroit for the first time in a couple of years, right? Or a few years. So heading into this game, it's definitely something to look at. The Lions have had our number. Jared Goff has had our number. Um, Heading into this game, though, what I want to see from our team, obviously, I already talked about the MHJ and Kyler Murray connection, right? We need to see that a lot more. We also need to see maybe some of the other guys get involved a lot more too. Michael Wilson, I think he only had 1 catch last week. Maybe you can throw him in there a little bit more as well. Greg Dortch, who came off a very good week 1, we didn't see him a lot in week 2. Maybe get him involved again because he is a speedy slot receiver that we could really use heading into this game. Especially if Terrion Arnold is out for Detroit, that's definitely a matchup that I would take the advantage of if I'm the Cardinals receiving core, right? So as far as the run game goes, I do want to see Trey Benson in there a lot more, right? Not just a lot of James Conner, because James Conner has been good these first 2 weeks, but I've always talked about James Conner's health. He has a hard time staying healthy, right? And the last thing you would want to do is force him the ball a lot, even though we have our options throwing the ball. The last thing you would want to do is make him run the ball a lot like the Niners do with CMC, and it leads to an injury. So maybe see Trey Benson involved in there a lot more. I also want to see it's definitely going to be interesting. How are the Cardinals going to stop Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jahmyr Gibbs, Jameson Williams, a guy who I think is going to have a big year for Detroit. Even though, Jameson Williams, he was quiet a lot last season, but I do think now that, he's going to be playing a full season with Detroit, assuming he doesn't get hurt. I think he's going to have a big year in Detroit. So if I'm the Lions, I do think that's going to be a sleeper. I think Jameson Williams, I could see him having a big game on our secondary, right? Our secondary is something that I don't really have a lot of faith in still, even though we held the Rams to 10 points last year. You have to remember, they were without Puka Nacua. This team, they have as far as I know, a healthy receiving core heading into this game. So Jameson Williams and Amon-Ra St. Brown, that duo, we definitely got to contain. Make sure Buda Baker has the same type of game he had last week, stopping them. Sean Murphy bunting, keep it going just like he did last week. Max Melton, I think he should be due for a good game, right? These first couple weeks have been kind of bumpy for Max Melton, but it's going to be interesting to see what he does. He's a rookie out of Rutgers, right? So it's going to take some time for him to adjust. So a lot to contain regarding the Lions offense, right? But if I had to pick a score prediction for this game, if I'm a Homer Cardinals fan, I'd say the Cardinals would win 28-25, right? Something like that. I do think that this will be a close game, though. I do think this will be a close game. But I'm going to say Detroit beats us for this game. I think Detroit's going to bounce back after that loss against Tampa Bay. And I think we're going to fall to 1-2. So my score prediction for this game is 32-24. Lions beat us. All right. But the Cardinals win like I did last week. I will happily come back on here and own up to my mistakes. So let me know what y'all think. So lastly, I want to talk about before we head into a quick break was Kyler Murray not winning player of the week offensively. Are you serious right now? A perfect passer rating and 3 touchdowns do not cut the deal. But then again, Alvin Kamara for the Saints, he did tear up the Cowboys. He had 4 touchdowns. He did his thing. So I will give Alvin Kamara that. I'm not saying he didn't deserve it, but it would have been nice to see Kyler Murray win player of the week. But it is what it is. Maybe Kyler Murray can respond and win player of the week this week, Who knows? But with that being said, guys, we're going to go into a quick break. And when we come back, we're going to be talking about the Arizona Diamondbacks and their playoff hopes remaining very, very close. So make sure you guys stay watching the show for that. Once again, guys, you're watching the AZ Sports Zone on the iSports Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
Sports fans, do you like teams that are tough, cities that are tougher, and fan bases that are passionate about their teams? How about teams that are historic and stadiums that are iconic? Then you belong in Chicago, and you need to check out Chi-Town Weekly. Join me, Adam Kernan, every week as we keep up with all things Chicago sports. Bears, Bulls, Blackhawks, Cubs, White Sox. We'll cover them all, plus more. The Windy City is always buzzing, and we'll keep you up on all the big games and major stories. So tune in to Chi-Town Weekly every week right here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
What's good, everyone? It's Drewski, the host of Heart of Texas Sports on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. On this station, we cover everything in the Dallas-Fort Worth, Texas area. From where we cover the Dallas Cowboys, the Dallas Stars, Dallas Mavericks, Dallas Wings, Texas Rangers, TCU, SMU, we cover it all right here every Wednesdays from 9 to 10 p.m. Central Time. Make sure you stay live with me on the Heart of Texas Sports on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
Welcome back to the AZ Sports Zone on the iSports Radio. Your right feed for all that sports. I'm your host, Alden K. Yeah, guys, make sure to go check out all of our shows, guys, not just mine. I'm going to keep bringing this up on all of my freaking episodes, guys. Make sure to check out everybody's shows, not just mine. All right. We have a bunch of people here that do great, great shows pretty much every single day from anywhere. So once a week for a lot of people like me, Fridays at 1 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. So make sure to go check it out. And yeah, shout out to Larry B, man. Yep, I try my best, man, and I appreciate you for allowing me to do this with y'all. So appreciate it, man. But with that being said, let's move into our Arizona baseball segment, which is the Arizona Diamondbacks. So the Diamondbacks are kind of a weird team right now. They're in a weird situation. They beat Milwaukee the other day, 5-1. Brandon Pfaadt had a terrific game. He only gave up 2 hits in 7 innings. And a lot of people made jokes about it because I think the day before that game, the Brewers won their division. And a lot of people were making jokes saying, oh, the Diamondbacks only won because they were hungover from celebrating a division win. Well, we went into Milwaukee and we got the job done regardless, like we were supposed to. So I will take that. But yes, like I said, we're playing a series right now against Milwaukee. It's a very important series, and our playoff hopes are very close, right? They're very slim. They're very close right now. You can pretty much say the D-backs have to win as many games as they can for the rest of their schedule. I think we have like 13 games left, if I'm not mistaken, or somewhere around those lines. So the playoffs are right around the corner, about 2 weeks away, 2.5 weeks away. So the Diamondbacks need to start getting hot as soon as possible because I always say this, our pitchers especially, if we give up this many runs come October, we're going to be first round exits if we even make the playoffs because the NL playoff race is very close, specifically the wild card, right? We all know the Frogers are going to win our division, right? Otani the other day had like 10 RBIs, went 6 for 6. Yes, he's having a crazy season. All right, we all know the Dodgers are going to do their thing. They're going to get to the playoffs. And when we face them in the second round, we'll beat them. Okay. So that's how it is. So, with that being said, we're not going to win our division, but what we could do, which honestly, I feel like it's better. I feel like it's better if we're a wild card team because we've seen it in the past. Teams that make the that win the division and get the first round bye, we've seen it in the past. They don't go to the World Series. They don't do their job right in the playoffs. We saw it with the Astros. We've seen it with the Dodgers. We've seen it with the Philly. Or wait, yeah, no, not the Phillies, the Braves. So teams that normally win their division and get the first round bye, they don't really do a lot in the playoffs. So based off of history, I like our team's chances of being a wild card team, right? So I feel like we're trending in the right direction if we can continue to win right here, keep it going, uh, contain, which I'll get to this series. If we're able to contain it well against Milwaukee, because after Milwaukee, I think we got the Giants and then the Padres to finish the season. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think we only got 3 series left, somewhere around there. So with that being said, um, the rest of our schedule is tough. I know the Giants aren't really the team we thought they would be. They're out of the playoffs right now, but it is a division rival, and division games are tough no matter what in any sport. So I think it's in San Francisco too. So we really got to be on our game for that. Or no, I think it's in Arizona actually. So we finish off this series in Milwaukee, and we play them today at 5 o'clock. So as I pull up the probable pitchers here for the Diamondbacks, because our pitching matchups do matter for the rest of this season as well. So today we got Zach Gallen taking on Colin Rea. So Colin Rea has a 12-5 record with Milwaukee with an ERA of 4.14. So that's something to look at. Zach Gallen, he's kind of had a bumpy season, right? His last outing wasn't that good. I think it was against Milwaukee too, ironically, but we still managed to win that game. But Gallen has kind of had a kind of a weird season, right? It's come to a point where a lot of us fans, we don't know what kind of game Zach Gallen is going to have. We don't know if he's going to have the ace type game that he's supposed to be having, where he dominates in 6, 7 innings, or if he's going to have that 100 pitch game in like 4, 5 innings where he gives up like 4 or 5 runs, right? Because that's been the definition of Zach Gallen this season. He's been that kind of pitcher where he's been inconsistent. And the stats are proven. He has a 12-6 record. He has a 3.61 ERA and 140 strikeouts. So it's definitely kind of weird regarding on what Zach Gallen is going to do. And then to the third game in Milwaukee, we got Merrill Kelly against Aaron Civil. So both pitchers have an ERA of 4. So that game is going to be key worthy as well. And then for the final game in Milwaukee, which I could see us losing, we have Jordan Montgomery, enough said, against Frankie Matas. So we really got to win these next 2 games if we're going to win the series in Milwaukee. I don't trust Jordan Montgomery at all. It was a waste of $25 million. I don't trust it. And then we're taking on the Giants, and yes, it is in Arizona. And then we got San Diego to close out the season. So I really don't like our chances against the Padres to close out the season. And honestly, when we play the Padres, it could be for that first wild card seeding. If we can keep up with the Padres and hopefully somewhat magical way they lose a few games, that series to end the season could really determine who gets the home field advantage in the wild card, right? So before we get to the standings in the National League, so Lourdes Gurriel Jr. as of today has been activated from the injured list, and Torey Lovello came out and said that he's going to try to find a way for Pavin Smith and Lourdes Gurriel to be able to play at the same time, right? Because Pavin Smith has been on fire lately. As much as I bashed Pavin Smith in the past, it's been very surprising how Pavin Smith has kind of turned things around lately. So he's on a hot streak right now. Hopefully Ketel Marte can keep it going a little bit. He almost had a home run the other day. Same thing with Corbin Carroll. Hopefully he can continue to do what he does best on the leadoff spot. And like I keep on saying, I really hope our pitchers can really get it going, because it really depends on how our pitchers do. That's going to determine how we do come October, because I always say this. Our offense, we may be the best offense in baseball right now, and that's a fact. We've scored the most runs in the MLB this season. Don't believe me, go look it up, because it's true. While, yes, we may be the best offense this season, our pitchers, if our pitchers can get it going, then at the end of the day, we're going to be unstoppable come October. All right. And we've proven it before. We went to the World Series with a bunch of 23-year-olds, guys. If our team can stay healthy and our pitchers can get it clicking, because Ryan Nelson is injured, by the way. Ryan Nelson is out for the rest of the regular season. So we have Jordan Montgomery back in the starting lineup, which is something I don't like. If Montgomery can at least somewhat hold the amount of runs that he gives up. If Montgomery gives up just 2 runs, honestly, I'd be happy with that, because that seems I can't remember the last time Montgomery, if at all, he had a good game with us. I really can't. So it's nice to see Gurriel back from the injured list. It's really nice to see Gurriel back. It's good. We're going to need all the health that we can get. All right. And also the move that the Diamondbacks made to get Gurriel back, they designated Luis Guillorme for assignment. So it was nice. He was basically here for a cup of coffee, but at the end of the day, it was kind of bound for him to get cut eventually. Just simple by the fact that, we have a bunch of talented guys on this team, and he was just the odd man out. So at the end of the day, I do appreciate Guillorme for filling in the role, because he didn't do that bad, honestly. But something I want to talk about, which I wasn't really a fan of. So, okay. So obviously, Gabriel Moreno came back, right? He came back from the long-term injury that he had. We all knew what was okay. So we knew the question, what was going to be the answer, right? So when Gabby comes back, are we going to send Adrian Del Castillo down to AAA? Are we going to send Jose Herrera down to AAA? What are we going to do? But what does our management do? They bring back Scott McGuff, like one of our worst relief pitchers on the team. And then they sent Adrian Del Castillo back down to AAA. So at the end of the day, at first I wasn't a fan of this move, but at the end of the day, it does make sense. It makes sense, right? ADC is a rookie. He has a very good bat, but when it came to his defense, as far as catching and trying to catch people stealing second base, that was his weakness. In regards to, it's the exact opposite for Jose Herrera. He was a terrible bat. but he wasn't that good at defense either, but he was somewhat good at defense, right? So, and Gabby Moreno, he's just the better all around catcher, right? He could catch people stealing second. He can what's it called? He can put the ball in play. He's not really known for his home run hitting, but he is a guy who could put the ball in play and change the scoreboard. So at the end of the day, Gabby Moreno, he's the better all around catcher, right? He's the guy that we always want to see behind the plate catching from the pitchers. He's the guy that should always be behind the plate. But I feel like ADC should have, and you know what? In some ways, I understand it, right? He's a young guy who should probably get developed a lot more. And Jose Herrera is the more experienced guy. So at the end of the day, it somewhat does make sense. But obviously, I feel like we could have kept ADC a little bit just for the sake of the home run hitting and this and that. But at the end of the day, you know, it's uh it's a hard decision for guys like that to make, especially when we have a roster with a ton of talent, right? So it's definitely something that sucks, but at the end of the day, it's really understandable if you think about it. So I wouldn't even be shocked one day if Adrian Del Castillo honestly got traded for some more assets because he's a very young prospect. He's a very young prospect. He was good for the time he was playing in the MLB. I wouldn't be shocked if we ended up trading him for better pieces one day because we have Gabby Moreno. But obviously, I hope that doesn't happen because he is a good backup option. So that being said, let's move on to the final segment of baseball. So if you take a look at these wild card standings, so these are the wild card standings that you guys see right here. Okay, so these are in order. This isn't out of order. Let me see here. What's up, Marcus? Yep, salute to you too, man. So, okay. Gosh, can my thing? All right. So as y'all can see right here, the Padres are currently first place in the wild card at 87 and 66, and the Padres keep on winning. It doesn't look like they're going to go away anytime soon, right? And they're 2 games above us. So we do currently have the tiebreaker right now with the Padres, but at the end of the day, the Padres keep on winning and we keep being kind of a bumpy team right now. So by the looks of it, we're not going to catch up to San Diego. At least not until we play them in the last series of the season, which could be very determining for how the seeding goes, right? And then you got the New York Mets. I did not see the Mets playing this good this season at all. Look at that record, right? They're 17 games above 500. They're on a big winning streak, I think, as of right now. They beat the crap out of the Phillies the other night. The Mets aren't going away. The Mets are not going away. And they have the tiebreaker over us right now, right? So in the standings, if you guys look up the NL wildcard standings online, it says that the Diamondbacks are ahead of the Mets right now. Well, it's actually not true because the Mets have the tiebreaker over us. So technically, the Mets have the second place in the wild card, and we have the last. And we are tied with the same record right now at 85 and 68. So not the best, not the worst season that the D-backs are having. They're still in the playoffs, which we all expected, right? We expected the D-backs to go back to the playoffs, which it is, at least as of right now, looking that way if they could keep on winning. And then lastly, the odd man out right now is the Atlanta Braves at 83 and 70. So they're 2 games below us. But the Braves have a very big cupcake schedule for, I think, these next 5 games. I think they're taking on the Reds and then the Marlins. So the Braves have a cupcake schedule that they're most likely going to be taking advantage of, as we can see here. So it's definitely important, right? If you look at our schedule, the Mets have the Phillies, right? They got the Phillies and then they got the Braves again. So the Braves and Mets series is going to be very crucial. If we could keep on winning and one of these 2 teams right here, the Mets or Braves, keep on losing, that would be big for us, right? I don't care who we face in the playoffs. I really don't care who we face in the playoffs. I don't care if we're on the road. I don't care if we're at home. This team has proven to me before that they can beat any team in the playoffs in under any circumstance, right? So I don't care, assuming we make the playoffs, I don't care what team we face. I don't care. Even if it's the Padres in San Diego, I don't care. This team has proven that they can get the job done in the past. And I know it's only been 1 year, but it was a very big year. So, with that being said, the Braves have an easy schedule. After the Marlins, they have the Mets. So it's going to be very important. It's going to be interesting. Honestly, if I'm being real, guys, if you're a D-backs fan, even though I just said I don't care what team we face in the playoffs, which I don't, but if Diamondback fans out there, for any Diamondbacks fan that is watching, if you guys want an easy path to back to the World Series, if it's an easy task that you're looking for, you guys should be hoping that we get the last wild card seeding, right? Let the Mets and Padres go head to head in the wild card, right? Let the Mets and Padres go at it. Two very hot teams that are looking to go to the World Series, two hot teams. Let one of them get eliminated early. Let the Diamondbacks get the last place wild card seeding, and then travel to Milwaukee, which is most likely going to be the third place team because the Dodgers and Phillies have been killing it lately. So if the D-backs finish last, travel back to Milwaukee with a rematch in the wild card against the Brewers, which I do like our chances against the Brewers because we did it last year and we've done it, in the past. Assuming we can beat Milwaukee again, travel back to Dodger Stadium and face the October Dodgers, which we all know the October Dodgers are a hilarious losing team to watch. Assuming we get them again, and then we get the Phillies, Padres, whatever. But we got to get to the playoffs first, right, guys? We got to get to the playoffs first. So it's all about just winning the rest of the games this season, right? We face Milwaukee for these next 3 games. If we can get at least 3 games, we need 3 games. We need 3 games. I say we need these next 2 games because I don't trust Jordan Montgomery in the finale. And then we go on to the Giants in Arizona for 3 games. The Giants, we should beat the Giants, but what do I know? It's a division opponent. Anything could go good, anything could go bad. And then we got the Padres in San Diego. In San Diego, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe it's in Arizona. If it's in Arizona, that's huge. It would be very huge. But yeah, there's that. So we really got to win as much as we can for the Brewers and Giants series before we take on San Diego, because San Diego is going to be by far the hardest series that we've had this season, right? Harder than any time we faced the Dodgers this year, harder than any time we faced the Phillies or any of these other good teams, this and that. The Padres series is going to be the hardest series that we have to go through. All right. So you guys see the standings right here. You see the standings right there. Diamondbacks are 2 games behind the first place in the wild card, and they're 2 games ahead of being out of the playoffs. So it's going to be fun. It's going to be interesting. I can't wait to see how the outcome of this season turns out. If we miss the playoffs, I might cry, honestly, dude. Like, it really sucks. Coming off of a World Series, it really would suck to miss the playoffs like this. But at least we're not the only team off of a World Series hangover. The Rangers got eliminated for winning the division the other day. So it's good to know we're not the only ones having a hangover, I guess, or a hangover in some sort. But anyway, but with that being said, guys, that is the end of the baseball segment. And when we get back to finish off this episode, we're going to be talking about college football again with our beloved ASU Sun Devils. Hopefully they can keep the win streak going. And we're going to be talking about U of A taking on Utah tomorrow, if I'm not mistaken. So once again, guys, when we come back, we're going to be talking lastly about college football. Once again, guys, thank you guys for coming to watch this show today. Really appreciate it. You guys are watching the AZ Sports Zone on the IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
The light is red, the kids are in bed, which means it is time for Mile High Musings with me, Aaron Yowell, right here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
What's good, fight fans? It's your boy, Marcus Los Rate, here to give you what you want, here to give you what you need. Yeah, man. Yeah. I'm coming to you live, straight from your mama's basement with a crispy, awesome white tea. We're coming to you live every Tuesday at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Powered by IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
Welcome back to the AZ Sports Zone on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that sports. I'm your host, Alden K. Yep, shout out to all of our shows, guys, all of our hosts. Make sure to go check out their shows. I got about a few minutes left of this episode. So before we wrap up episode 10, we're gonna be talking about ASU and U of A football. So ASU is taking on Texas Tech tomorrow. They're currently 3-0. Texas is big favorites heading into this game. It's going to be interesting. Kenny Dillingham has done a great job with this team. Looking forward to it. I can't wait. Um, Hopefully we can keep getting the run game involved. Hopefully Sam Levitt keeps it going. As you know, it seems like he's a big, somewhat of a dual threat now. It's like he's really killing it for ASU. So we're 3-0. We already have the same amount of wins as we had last year. It's crazy. So honestly, we're doing something right. But Texas Tech, they compared to us at least, they are a tough team. I do think that this could be the game where we get pushed back to reality and we lose. But I've said that before. I don't care if we're playing bad teams. Being 3-0 feels great, and I love it. So, with that being said, shout out to ASU. Keep it going. Keep winning. Make a statement out there for college football. Hopefully, one of these days, at some point in my lifetime, we will be ranked. That's all I care about. Just be ranked for once in my life, please. I don't think we've been ranked since I've been on this earth. So at least do that for me, please. It would be great. But it is going to be an interesting game. Like I said, guys, tomorrow we're taking them on. It's going to be amazing. But I really hope we win this game. It'd be nice. But moving on to our last topic, which is U of A against Utah. So U of A has kind of been struggling a little bit this season. And I love seeing it, right? Because ASU is my team and not U of A. So they're coming off a loss against Kansas State, who was ranked. And now they're taking on Utah, who was ranked 12th. So I do think Utah is going to win this game. They're by far the favorites heading into this game. They're going to make a statement to U of A. U of A has been struggling against every team that they've played this season. They struggled against New Mexico, NAU, and then when they played a real team, they got punched in the mouth. So unless U of A can really pull a shocker here, actually make adjustments like they're supposed to be doing, which they haven't done yet, it's going to be interesting. But I do think Utah is going to win this game. So U of A, right? They were ranked 20th coming into the season. It's kind of funny. You were ranked coming into the season, and now just like that, after 3 games, you're done. You're just done. And for once in my lifetime, ASU has a better record than U of A in football. It's so beautiful. It's amazing. I'm going to enjoy it while I can because ASU football, even though it seems like we're trending in the right direction, I can only imagine so far on how far this team can really go as far as, U of A, this and that. So, or ASU, I should say. So hopefully, as college continues, we can start talking about maybe some college basketball going forward and for the coming episodes. Same thing with the Phoenix Suns. Like I said, guys, we have basketball for it's another month away. There's not really a lot of news regarding the Phoenix Suns right now, and I love to talk about the Suns a lot more because they are probably my favorite team out of all the Arizona teams. So it really sucks that there's not a lot to talk about regarding the Phoenix Suns, but the season is a month away, so I will definitely be talking about the Phoenix Suns a lot come October, right? So it's going to be amazing, guys. It's going to be like in the next few or so shows, talking about every single Arizona sports team that I love and cherish is going to be fun again. So, with that being said, guys, I really do appreciate you guys coming by for episode 10. Really means a lot. We had a lot of people coming here to watch today. I appreciate everybody that commented here in the chat while I was going live. Really appreciate all you guys. I appreciate the IE Sports Radio once again. Next episode, I will definitely be trying to bring a guest on here. We're taking on the Commanders next week. So I'm going to see if we can get a Washington fan on here next week to do the show with me and talk about Washington and Arizona sports. Same thing for week 5. We're going to be playing against the Niners. I'm going to start bringing guests on here. I'm going to start expanding my episodes a little bit because you guys not just talk about one state of sports, even though it is an Arizona sports show, but 2, because it'd be nice to combine that when our teams go at it for the NFL season. So, once again, guys, I really appreciate you guys for stopping on here and watching the AZ Sports Zone episode 10. It's been 10 episodes already, guys. I love being here. I love talking Arizona sports with you fine people. Once again, guys, I go live every single Friday at 1 o'clock p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Make sure to come by, swing by whenever you guys have a chance. I know it's a weekday afternoon, so a lot of people may not have time. If you guys missed my show, make sure to check it out on the IE Sports Radio website. If you guys want to buy some of our merch, go buy our merch because it's amazing. And prices are off as well. So make sure to go check out our merch. Make sure to go sub up on all of our YouTube channel, guys. We're really trying to grow on YouTube as well, as you guys can see. And make sure to follow us on all of our socials as well, because we're getting big, or at least we're going to keep getting big, because we have a bunch of people on this amazing platform that do well at their shows. So once again, guys, really appreciate you guys for stopping by. Once again, I'm your host, Alden K. Thank you guys for tuning in to the AZ Sports Zone, episode 10 on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Once again, I'm your host, Alden K. See you guys next Friday, 1 o'clock p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Have a great weekend, and I will see you guys next Friday. Peace out.